Original Gamer Life is a thriving as a service social impact platform and metaverse play consisting of several different metaverses actually that are tied together, but they do all have a common purpose, and that is to engage in health and wellness, and also just using blockchain and crypto to be able to do that. So with me is Steve Ford, your technical artist with the company. And what does it entail being a technical artist?
Well, I'm pretty much just sort of I'm doing a bit of everything.
Okay.
I haven't gotten too much to the technical art stuff, and I've been doing a lot of concept art and helping decide the vision of what we're going to build. And yeah, so there's been a lot of drawings and kicking those up to my supervisor and having it get feedback, and then building out everything in 3D. And but eventually I'll settle down to doing character rigging, and so setting up the characters for movement and putting all the joints in there, and putting all the controls for the animators so that they can do their job. And yeah, it's I find it very creative. It's because you have to know anatomy, and it's very techie, and there's always unique things that you have to solve that haven't been solved before. So that's sort of what I'm supposed to be doing, but you know, at this point in the project, it's whatever needs to get done. Yeah, I just jump in on it.
It's kind of life of a startup, right? You do whatever you need to do to get done. But that sounds absolutely fascinating, that you have to be kind of an expert in a lot of different areas. You mentioned anatomy. I hadn't even occurred to me. So what's your background? How is it? Computer science? Is it art? Is it a combination?
Sort of, yeah. I have a bachelor's in illustration from the University of Hartford, and but no one knew what to do with me in '96 when I graduated. It wasn't a market.
Well, you know, it's interesting because blockchain is a little bit that way, although I feel like blockchain is developed, but I hear people say don't even take a class because it changes so fast. By the time you take the class, like it's all kind of dated information. So now how did you go from that then into gaming? Were you immediately went into gaming, or explain that?
Well, oddly enough, I was doing a big project like this for the National Academy of Sciences back in '98, and yeah, and so I was doing storyboards on that and building out the mini games for teaching science. And unfortunately, we didn't get to phase 2 on that. And but yeah, I moved to Norway 15 years ago as a medical animator, working on projects for Pfizer and Glaxo. And my boss screwed me, and so that night I got a call from a game school in the Netherlands, and yeah, it's
Okay.
and so I've been doing gaming, teaching gaming for the last 14 years. I did a game for Nintendo. I just got a visit from my
Oh, hello.
housemate just decided to come in, and yes,
Wants to be part of the interview too, I see. So tell me a little bit about Norway and the gaming industry there, and then also a little bit about the class that you teach.
Well, our problem right now is the Swedes are ahead. So we're behind. But yeah, I'm running 9 student teams at the moment, and they're all building game prototypes. And we frequently are winning the national student competition. And yeah, and we really focus on building game experiences and making fun games. And yeah, it's intense, but I get to work on lots of different things.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's some guys are doing medieval games, some are doing space, some are doing, you know, and it's my job to help them sort out their files and and be organized and learn how to communicate between the artists and the programmers. And yeah, it's we're busy.
No, well, that's great. And it's a growing, huge industry. What
yeah.
would you say is the most fulfilling part of what you do?
The teaching is helping people get into their dream jobs.
Mm.
It's really that. It's and giving them a dose of what it really is like, and what the work is like, and what you have to do, and the commitments, and the ethoses of the industry, and just watching them go from irresponsible teenagers who are lost into you know, productive adults and young professionals. And we run things very very businesslike, and you know, they have their executive meetings once a week with us, and they have to show progress. And you know, I have some personnel management stuff I have to sort out tomorrow with one of the teams, and they have to do 2 full work days. And yeah, so if you don't like sitting at a computer poking it for long hours, this is not the career for you. And yeah, so it's very rewarding.
Yeah. Well, at night, of course, we were never irresponsible teenagers, you know, we were. I think back and I'm like, I actually amounted to something after all of that. So you talked a little bit about how the technical artists, you're kind of a bridge between the programmers and the artists. So talk about that a little bit. How do you speak both languages?
Well, luckily I had programming classes at RIT. And so, you know, I know what it entails, and what they're struggling with. But yeah, there's very much a different mindsets, and you got to get them, everyone on the same page of their priorities, and make sure that they're all building the same game, which is difficult. But you know, and this is where also just the drawing helps, is just being able to, you know, draw quickly what the issues are, and discuss it. Yeah, so we really focus on the communication skills at the school.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of tools do you use? Like, are you on a big tablet computer, or what do you need for your job?
I work on a large Cintiq, so a 24-inch tablet, where I just draw directly into the computer. And I've been using Autodesk Maya for 23 years. So I know a lot of the quirks, and I can solve deep problems in it. So I've been on it almost every day for 20 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about OGLife? What was it about that company, or the creativity that offered you?
Well, my supervisor, I worked with him as a teacher down in the Netherlands, and so he called me up and he's like, Steve, I need a technical artist. I need someone to handle the rigs and make sure all that works. And yeah, so it was to work with him, and that's why I got on board. And I just have because yeah, I get to work on a nice variety of things, and I get to really influence what the vision of the project is going to be. So we're working closely on that.
And then just tell me about the game itself, OGLife. What is it about? I've never played, I got to be honest. So, I mean, describe the game to me.
Well, right, it's a metaverse. So
Okay.
you're first going to just land in a space station, and you can meet up with your friends there. And there's just going to be lots of mini games, some major games that you can play. And so there's going to be contests and things every day, so you can dip in every day if that's how you want to do. Or you can, maybe I call it the bowling league, get together with a group of friends from back in college or the military or something, and, have a gaming night, every Wednesday.
Okay.
And so you just go in and you play a big game there, on your Wednesday night game night. And there's also going to be a narrative story arc going through where you follow this character, Fran Celeste, and you find out about her backstory and what's going on in her life and what she's trying to achieve. So yeah, there's a little bit for everyone, but it's really centered around the gaming community and place for gamers to, be with other gamers and, actively do things. And there'll be places also where you can have meetings if you're doing a game dev. Yeah, and so you can do that it'll run on the space station or one of the other worlds. Maybe you want to do your meetings as Knights of the Round Table, and and just make it fun and spur the creativity that way.
Yeah.
So it's a big vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you working on a new game or a new project for OGLife right now? And can you share anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to tell what I'm building out one of the suits and for Fran Celeste, and so that in the prototype you can choose between a male or a female, and yeah, so that's what I'm currently working on as we build out our second prototype.
Mm-hmm. And who is the target market, would you say, for OGLife? And is there any competition?
Well, it's really for people who grew up with games, and they're in their mid 30s and 40s and 50s, and so they have their favorite retro games maybe that they want to dip into with their maybe with their high school buddies or their college buddies, and they just it's really a space for them, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the game itself, is it different than other gaming platforms? Like what distinguishes it, would you say, from some of the other platforms that are available?
Well, there's going to be lots of different games that you can play in the space. So it's not just one game in particular. Yes, there's going to be the main narrative if you want to follow that, but there's going to be laser tag that you can play. There's going to be retro games, and some mini games that you can play. So it's not just one thing. There's going to be a selection. It's more like a large arcade, and so you can play. Yeah, so there's going to be a little bit of everything there, and there'll be music venues, and it's really a big vision.
Okay. Like an arcade in the metaverse, really, it sounds like.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that sounds actually kind of fun and interesting. So what are some of the milestones you say that you've achieved with this project?
Well, we've built out a prototype, and we've done some videos from that, and we're getting the functionality in, and yeah, now we're pushing in to get another character in and build up the team. So for our next next level prototype at the end of November.
Okay. Well, that leads into my next question. What advice would you give to people who are interested in being a technical artist and doing what you do? And like, what kind of classes should they take? Internships? What advice would you give?
They should draw. It's really that simple. It's they should draw for an hour a day, and yeah, the hand skills are going to get better, but the key thing, it's the observational skills. It's that ability to see the world and for how it truly is, and yeah, and be able to observe things, get them into your head, because when you get on the fancy tools like Autodesk Maya and Photoshop and Substance, you need to then understand what you're trying to build, and you need to have those observational and analytical skills to then ask the computer to replicate things and build whatever it is your client wants. So it really gets back to the classics. Pencils before pixels, as one of my colleagues likes to say.
It's still even pencils before, all back to the tradition.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely fascinating. And you don't even think about, like, with these games, the art that goes, it's so crucial to the success of a game, but you don't think about it too much as a player. So great to meet you and hear about that.
Yeah, we have to build a world people want to spend time in, and and create a feeling. And that's not this line of code or this bit of art, and it's very it's a very ethereal, and it's everything coming together to achieve that. So yeah, they do want me to talk a little bit about the big picture of the game in it being a gaming community hub, and powered by the blockchain, and with a play to earn model that introduces cryptocurrencies to a 3 billion strong gaming audience, a destination, and a community where people converge, interact, they're social, and we're bringing in service events, in-game NFTs, streaming, esports, and creating really a unique place for the gaming community to play their favorite titles, and earn our currency, which is OGL and SNE, and partner tokens. But it's really pushing the connection with the community forward. And we bring content, services, events, in-game NFTs, esports, and a diverse community that wants to unlock the potential of the metaverse. So that's the structured statement.
That's the big picture. And it sounds like there's a lot going on. I mean, you've got the community, you've got the NFTs, you've got esports, you're bringing in the blockchain and crypto, and it's just a huge project.
It's massive.
Yeah,
it's super exciting, and it's going to be super fun and super tiring.
Yeah. Well, right. Fun and tiring go together sometimes. Stephen, thank you so much. It's been absolutely fascinating to talk to you today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.